Welcome back to Bed Talk. It's been several months since we've been in bed.
It's been like 10 minutes.
Yeah, the power of editing. It's been a busy fall between all the traveling we've been doing, which is kind of the theme of our year this year.
Yeah.
Very grateful for that. And then me being back in school and just work being crazy. So now that it's kind of the end of the year, we can do a nice little end of year wrap up with our Rivian specific travels that we've done this year. I know we already talked about visiting the Laguna space, but we've done several other things since then. Yeah. You've done several other things.
I know, it's been a whirlwind.
I know. So I thought it would be nice to kind of like debrief about what we've done with Rivian specifically this year.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that we've done.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted. This has been the busiest year ever.
I know. This year has flown by, and the fact that we are halfway through the 2020s is actually insane.
We're halfway through the 2020s. I've not thought about that.
I know.
I'm just trying to take it one day at a time.
We're about to hit our 11-year anniversary.
Wow.
You want to sound more enthused? Let's try this again.
Wow. Anyways, back to the Rivian news.
Right. So Laguna, we went in August, and then immediately the next month, you had probably the biggest solo trip of your life, which we could have dedicated an entire episode to, but didn't have the time. So why don't you talk about Joshua Tree?
Joshua Tree. Yes, Joshua Tree. I was thinking in my head, like Katy Perry, California Girl. It's like California.
No, yeah.
Let's see. Joshua Tree was a lot of fun because it was from the referral program. So if you hit 25 referrals, you were invited to go to Joshua Tree. All expenses paid trip, which was really cool. And I don't think I'm ever going to get one of those again.
I would have loved to be on that trip, but Rivian, who is not great with time management and planning, told you about the trip a little too late, and I had a wedding, so I went to the wedding. You went to Joshua Tree, which I also didn't know Joshua trees were actual trees.
Well, they're not actual trees because they're actually succulents.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't garden, despite wearing green. I also just set the mic. I don't go outdoors much.
No, but that was a really cool trip. So when was that? Was that in July?
So, okay, let's back up. We did Laguna in August.
Yeah.
Joshua Tree was after, on a calendar.
No way.
Yeah, you went to Joshua Tree in September.
Wow. Oh my God. I really thought it was in July. Okay, so.
No, we did.
Anyways.
We had a wedding in July and then Vegas in July.
Yeah. Wow. What day is it?
Sunday.
So anyways, yeah, Joshua Tree was really cool. They had this really neat setup at a, how would you describe where we stayed?
Shipping containers.
Refurbished shipping containers. It was the most Rivian thing ever. So basically there's this guy out in Joshua Tree, California that took 30, 50 shipping containers and made them into like a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. I mean, it was beautiful. It was perfect for Rivian, especially for the event because there was a bunch of land behind it that we could use the trucks, SUVs on, which we did end up doing, but I'll get there in a little bit. I think it was a really special event because people, I mean, how often do you get people to be off of their phones and, you know, part of a community and like engaging with one another and all different people from all different walks of life?
Well, and it was nice because you have been a part of this Rivian community for the better part of a year by that point, right? And you've made all of these friends online, and that was the first time you got to meet them in person too, so that must have been pretty cool.
Yes. I'm definitely the tallest of all of them.
That's not true. And Mike is 6 feet, so like that is saying something.
Yeah, the first photo that we took, it was like, I mean, I don't know how many of us were in that picture, like 6 or 5 of us, and I was maybe the second
shortest,
tallest.
No.
Yeah, no, I was the second shortest.
Yeah. Welcome to my life, baby.
Yeah, everyone that owns Rivians apparently has taken like growth hormone.
Yeah, I mean, note to prospective buyers, if you are over 6 feet tall and experience cramped situations in your vehicles, seemingly Rivian doesn't have that problem.
Yeah. So I met a bunch of people in the community. There weren't what, people would consider like big influencers there.
No.
Like Kyle from Out of Spec was there. Ben from G Jeebs was there. So those were the two, but it wasn't really an event where people were content creating necessarily. I think they wanted us to. But for the things that were worthy of content creation, we weren't allowed to take video of it.
That's fair. Can I ask, did you ride in quads?
Yeah, so I think most of the vehicles that were actually there were quads. And that was, now I'm like screwing up all the timelines. Quads had been out at that point.
Yes, because the Laguna event we went to was a quad launch.
Yeah. So they had been out, but they, just recently they're getting the kick turn functionality and rad tuner. So we were able to test those out, but we couldn't take video of them from inside, but you could take video from it from outside, but you were so far away that like, was it worth taking video of it? Like not really, but it was really cool. And they're finally getting that out with software update 2025.46, which should be hitting everyone's vehicles. But you have to have a quad, so if you don't have a quad, that doesn't really matter for you.
Did you notice a difference driving in the quad? Because you have a dual, I have a tri. Did you notice a difference just driving in it generally?
No.
Okay.
I think your tri is fast, the quad is fast. I don't really think you can notice a difference. I mean, I'm sure people can, but I couldn't. I felt like your car was just as fast.
There is a noticeable difference between the Gen 1 and the Gen 2 vehicles. But you would say in terms of motors, you wouldn't necessarily prioritize a quad over a tri or a dual.
No. I think that, honestly, I think the perfect build is a dual performance so that you get some of the speed, but then you also get the mileage as far as like battery performance goes.
Agreed.
We were able to do the kick turn. We were able to take the vehicles for a short little like guided tour through where we were. So we were going over rocks and we were going up and down. Yeah, we were off-roading, adventuring. But the whole point of that was to learn how to like use a compass to guide you to a next,
and you were not a Boy Scout. You didn't make it past Cub Scouts. So how was...
Hey, I made it through Cub Scouts.
Right, but you didn't continue on, which again is more than what I've ever done. But like, how was it using a compass?
Oh, it's good. I think, if obviously everyone knows how to use a compass. Most people know and understand the ideology behind a compass. But when you're actually mapping things out on a piece of paper with topography, it's totally different. So it was cool. It was a life, learning moment that I would have never done if I had not gone to Joshua Tree.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
I think one of the coolest things that you sent me a picture of was the ice bath that they had in the back of one.
Rivian has this really cool division where they just create fun things for the vehicles. Yeah. And if you remember it wasn't called the travel kitchen. The new one is the travel kitchen. The camp kitchen. Camp kitchen. If you remember the camp kitchen, it's the same team that created that. Obviously, they wanted that one to come, but it didn't end up happening. So they created this one-off. It is an ice bath that goes right into the truck bed of the R1T. And we just dumped a bunch of ice in it, and there's water in it, and it was really, really, really cold.
Yeah, and then they didn't have the Miami Vice vehicle there, right?
No, they didn't have that one there. They had the Pikes Peak. They had a bunch of different quad motors. There's, I think, a tri-motor thrown in there every once in a while. And there were a bunch of Rivian delivery vans that were there. So that was really cool. My biggest complaint is I don't feel like we got to spend as much time in the vehicles as I would have wanted to.
Okay. I mean, you were only there for 2 days.
Yes.
You flew in on a Friday, and then you were there Friday, Saturday, and flew out Sunday morning.
Yeah, then that's another complaint that I had personally. I don't think it was as big of a deal for people that lived on the West Coast.
Right.
Because, they're not that far of a flight. But to fly out from Boston to Joshua Tree, that's a long, long flight for just those few days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just add, if you could add one more day, that would have been great. I understand that it is a increased cost for when you do that.
Yeah, I mean, we have to take it with a grain of salt, right? Like, you didn't pay for any of the trip. You did get a +1. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. So we can't complain too much about a free trip, but at the same time, if the whole purpose of it was to have time with the quads, to have spent more time with the quads seemingly would have been preferable.
I mean, I don't think the whole purpose was to just spend time with the vehicles. I think it was to engage within the community that we've built. Since then, there were some other people there that were like partners with Rivian or utilize a Rivian to, have their business. So there was aunts and uncles, there was Proud Mary coffee. And since that trip, I've purchased coffee from...
And Dry Water, right?
Proud Mary. Dry Water was just like a sponsored,
I mean, you use their cup.
Yeah, I do have their cup. But I got to actually meet the owners of these other companies. So we just ordered a bunch of dry rub from aunts and uncles. Mike over there, he's super nice.
Are you biased because of his name?
Yes, 100%. We Mikes, we stand together.
There's so few of you.
So hopefully if we go to New York City, that's where they have locations and we can stop by. And I think Proud Mary is in Austin and Oregon. Maybe. I have to double check that. But that was really cool. I'm super happy that I got to meet a bunch of new people within the community itself.
Yeah. Is aunts and uncles the maple barbecue sauce that we had the other night? Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, they had a hot maple syrup. Ooh.
Yeah, that was big fan of that.
They have Cajun style, but their big thing is alternatives to meat and
yeah. Okay. And then Proud Mary is the coffee that you've been grinding every day.
Not every day. I started with theirs. And I asked Santa for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe Proud Mary has been your gateway into becoming more of a coffee connoisseur this year.
Definitely.
So thanks, Proud Mary.
Yeah.
Because I've been benefiting from it too.
But I feel like that's really that's really all there is to take away from that trip.
It'd be great to do another one, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point and a good little segue because they are continuing to do this trip. At least that's what it looks like. That's what we've heard. So if you haven't hit 25 referrals and you still can hit 25 referrals, there's hope. And I think that they will honestly continue to make that trip even better and better and better because they're taking some of the things that they did with us and they're going to improve upon it.
Nice.
So keep trying to get referrals. I think there's a lot of people out there that, that are looking to get into electric vehicles and hopefully you can, educate them enough to have them use a code.
My dad is a business owner and he has a whole fleet of vehicles and his thing has been red vehicles for years. It was red. The cars that I had were red. That was kind of his brand.
It's really bad though because they don't have a red anymore.
Well, I was going to say, and aren't red vehicles the number one vehicles to get pulled over just because the flashy color and cops spot them, or is that a myth?
I don't know. That might be a myth.
Okay.
I think it's just that most red cars are sports cars.
Fair enough.
And then people drive them
fast. I
don't
really think my Kia Forte was a sports car. But my dad texted you and called me literally this past week to say he listened to episode 11 of our podcast. And I want to give the caveat. My father said, I listened to it or watched it because I was in the thumbnail. And I said, Dad, I'm literally in all of the podcasts. That was the whole point of the podcast. Anyway.
So now he's going to watch all the rest and he's going to watch this one.
Yeah. Shout out Stan the Man. But he was saying EVs are never something he considered doing, but after listening to us talk about EVs, and I think it was actually the episode where I talked about driving to Connecticut and how much charge I retained Connecticut, New York, and back.
Yeah.
He was super impressed by it, despite having listened to us talk about EVs again for the better part of 2 years now.
Yeah.
The podcast got through to him, and he was saying that he was considering moving towards EVs potentially for his company.
Yeah.
Because the amount of time that his employees not necessarily waste, but just spend at a gas station, if they could just charge at night instead of making those stops during the day, that could be a lot more beneficial.
I do think that a lot of, one of the biggest selling points of electric vehicles is for fleet management, because
Amazon.
Yeah, most people that own a business like that, they know the distance that their vehicles typically drive. So if you can get a vehicle with that range, you'll always have a full tank of gas in the morning, and you'll come back and you'll just charge. So it's a lot less time wasted.
Yeah, exactly. And so speaking of vehicles driving long distance, the next Rivian event we did was that Halloween crawl where they drove the Borealis vehicle from, where did they start?
So it wasn't Borealis.
Are you sure?
I am positive.
Was it a different purple?
It was a different purple.
Okay,
it was just more for like the Halloween theme.
I mean, it was a cool color. I liked it a lot.
Very cool. And they had like all the different like designs on it.
The decals, yeah, they really decked that car out.
I want to give a huge shout out to Danny, because she pretty much ran that trip, I would say 75%.
Yeah.
Especially after Rivian had let go her whole team. So that was really sad, because a lot of the people that were let go were the people helping with Joshua Tree. So like right before she went for that trip, it was pretty much told to her that like, hey, you're on your own for this one. But then Hunter and Maston, they joined up in New York City. So that was good.
Yeah, the three of them were wonderful. You had previously met all of them at Joshua Tree. Yeah. I got to meet them. They had just driven from New York we met them in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. And they were so wonderful. We spent the event with them. We spent some time with them after the event. And as with everyone else we've met at Rivian, they care so much. And especially you're saying like Danny's entire team had just been let go, and she was still so upbeat and friendly. And it was a smaller event. I mean, there were 10, 15 of us there.
Yeah.
They had candy in the front, which was really nice. We started just like in a parking lot meeting up, and then we drove to Goddard Park, where there's this massive plot of land, and we just hung out there and talked about anything and everything. Shout out, they had just come through Connecticut and stopped at our favorite Connecticut pizza spot, and this might be a very hot button topics. I know people get really picky with their Connecticut pizza, but Zupardi's pizza is our number one forever and always. We love you so much.
Yeah. Sorry, Frank.
Sorry, Frank. Sorry, Modern. Sorry, Sally. But no, it was nice because it was a much more informal Rivian event. So you get to spend more one-on-one time with the people who are actively involved in furthering the company and the vehicles. And then you just get to meet people around the area as well, which is a cool thing to do. And one of the guys from the service center up here, Kyle, not Kyle from YouTube, but yeah, he was there, which is nice because we see him a bit when we go into the city.
Yes, with his electric Dodge Charger.
It was
pretty cool.
It was orange.
It was very orange.
Very orange.
It was
Clementine, right? I think that was its name.
Yeah, I think it was Clementine.
It was clever.
But no, it was a good time. I'm glad that a bunch of people showed up for it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was really good.
And then you went up to see them in Salem, and you brought Arlo, our dog.
Yeah, I brought the puppy
on the other side of the sky.
Yeah, so they got to meet him, and we kind of just hung out in Salem for an afternoon, which is really cool, especially during the peak of Halloween, where Salem is crazy. Typically, it's a place that we avoid during that time of the year because it's just so crazy.
Yeah, and I think what's nice about those low-key events is there really is no pressure. No one is pressuring you into buying a Rivian, which is not their model anyway.
Mm.
But you just go there and hang out with people who genuinely care about EVs or the company. And it's a good way where if you are considering getting a Rivian, just to have one-on-one FaceTime with people who know a lot about the brand.
Mm.
And I also think that those events should be more frequent. Obviously, with having a reduced team, that might be a different story. But, it's a good way to bolster that community that they are creating here.
Yeah. I just hope that Rivian never forgets to continue with the
Yeah.
community-driven things, because it is something that I feel it will continue to grow the brand. They're going to get bigger with the release of R2.
Yeah.
But if you own a Rivian, like, wave at the next person that has a Rivian, because I feel so dumb when I wave and no one waves back.
Mike does it every time. He waves at Rivian owners as we drive past them. And in the beginning, I feel like people did wave back, and now they don't. I started waving when I got my Rivian, and nobody waves me.
Well, now you have blacked out.
Oh yeah, we did
windows.
some modifications on my vehicle.
Yeah, we got a little tint on the front, front too.
The
Yeah,
sides.
driver,
we didn't
passenger.
do the front. Yeah. And then
it looks
we
great.
did a seal.
We did a
coating?
ceramic coat.
Ceramic coat.
So the idea behind putting the ceramic coat on your vehicle is that it is going to protect the paint from like salt and the
From the New England elements.
from the elements in winter. So
Fair enough.
that's part of it, and then it also just makes it a lot easier to clean because it's very hydrophobic.
Mhm.
Yeah, hydrophobic. So the water just like falls off, and that also comes all the dirt and grime and everything from it.
It looks pretty.
It looks great. It makes it a little bit shinier.
Yeah.
And today I took it to the car wash and I just
nice. Thank
sprayed it
you.
off, and it looked great.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so that was October.
Yep.
We didn't do anything in November.
No.
But December, you were invited.
To Autonomy and AI Day. Yes. What a time. I think it was very interesting. It was the first like true media event that I went to for anything, because I'm not actually in the media. I'm just someone on YouTube that enjoys Rivian and sharing the news. But it was cool because I had a little pass that said press, which is like, wow.
Did you keep it? Were you able to keep
it? Yeah,
it?
I have it in my backpack. I think the event overall, which I knew this going into it, was more to prove to investors that there's something there with Rivian's autonomy and AI features.
Okay.
Huge moment for Rivian, basically showing off their new chip that is built in-house. They're doing the Apple thing where they're creating their own chips so that they can, build the chip to meet the demand of the vehicle versus outsourcing it. So it should be faster, and they should be able to ramp up a lot quicker with the tech as it continues to grow.
That seems to make sense for tech companies, right? To keep it in-house and what do you call it? Like vertical
integration. Vertical integration, yeah.
But I would also imagine it in the beginning might be a longer process just to hire the people who can do it, and a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, Rivian is taking a huge bet on the fact that they can pull this off, because the research and development into doing something like this must cost so much money.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're doing it, I'm happy that they're doing it, but you're gonna have to wait to see the payoff. I think it's gonna take some time.
That's fair. I think with technology, there is something to be said for waiting around for it. Obviously, Rivian being a vehicle manufacturer there is a lot more to lose if something goes wrong, safety wise, right? So I would rather wait for something like full self-driving than have it rolled out far too soon. Whereas, like, I don't know, if an Apple update doesn't work the way I want it to, that hopefully shouldn't be a safety concern, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people that are big into Tesla and the full self-driving, they feel like they're very close to getting rid of the whole supervised portion of that, where it's like, no, this is truly full self-driving. You don't have to pay attention. And I don't think that is going to happen anytime soon because it takes the liability from the person driving to Tesla, the company. So it would be a huge move if they actually did it, but legally, I don't think that they will do it anytime soon. So I don't feel like they're going to gain more of the more piece of the pie, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Where like now I feel like Rivian can slowly build out what they want to build out and be competitive with Tesla.
So Waymo, which we can talk a little bit later about, if something goes wrong in a Waymo, is the liability on Waymo?
Good question. I don't actually know.
That would be interesting because with Rivian and with Tesla, if we're talking full self-driving, the presumption is that you are still in the car and able to override it. Whereas Waymo, you can't.
No.
Right? You cannot get into that front seat. You cannot touch that wheel or those pedals.
No, yeah.
Interesting.
But then again, maybe I'm totally wrong on the fact of them getting rid of supervised, meaning that liability shifts. I mean, I'm sure they could just put something into their legal documents to make it so that it's not their fault.
Yeah, you can have like a no arbitration clause.
Yeah, it's going to be a rocky road for whoever decides for whoever decides to basically tell the public, like, you can sleep in this car when it's driving. Like, that's a huge risk for
There's going to have to be a lot of PR coaching with like what they can and can't say, I would imagine.
Yeah, because I drove in a Tesla with Chad, my friend that does Rivian Roamer, and he was renting one while we were out in San Francisco, and he put on full self-driving version like 14.2, I believe, and it was really, really impressive.
Was he in the front seat still?
Yep.
Okay.
Because you have to be.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was in the front seat, but like it drove us from the hotel to the Rivian event. So pulling up in that Tesla, woo woo.
The enemy.
But the really interesting part about it, when we left, we were taking Travis home, who he is also on YouTube. If you've watched Rivian YouTube, Travis Ketchum, like Ash Ketchum.
Yeah.
But so we were driving, and then we put in his address for his hotel, and then it like didn't work because apparently we didn't click it. So then we clicked it, and the Tesla had the directions on the screen, but it like wouldn't make the turn. It just like kept going straight. So I feel like if we didn't stop it and turn it around, it would have just kept going straight, even though the GPS was telling it. And that was a weird, like, you know, it was like a weird bug. Otherwise, it was so smooth. It's a better driver than pretty much anyone on the road.
What would you say was either the biggest takeaway from Autonomy Day or your favorite thing from Autonomy Day? I don't know if those are the same answer.
I think my favorite thing from Autonomy Day is the fact that Rivian is creating their own chip, and just the amount of confidence they must have in themselves to be able to do something like that, especially since in the past they've been so close-knit with NVIDIA. That's very telling that they have a lot of confidence about the people that are in-house helping to create the future of what an AI vehicle actually is.
Is NVIDIA just like another tech company?
NVIDIA makes a chip.
A chip. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're like everything, like if you look at like computer gaming, they're like the thing to
Oh,
get
okay.
for a lot of stuff.
And so Rivian now has split from NVIDIA.
Yeah,
hence
because they
doing
were
their own thing.
originally, I believe, using NVIDIA chips.
Got it.
So that was probably my biggest takeaway from the actual day. Obviously, I met a lot more people. This was like the first time where I saw creators doing creator things.
And creators that like you knew too.
Oh
Like
yeah,
from
like
watching.
very big like creators,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, this is fascinating to see the behind the scenes, because I'm just like fish out of water. Like, where am I?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. I just, yeah, that part to me was overwhelming. So it was cool to see people that have been doing it for a lot longer and just
Yeah.
like how they function in that environment.
And surreal to see RJ in person after all this time.
Surreal to see RJ in person. I didn't actually meet him.
Next time.
I have some regrets about Autonomy Day.
Okay, let's hear 'em.
In the fact that I didn't really talk to RJ or Wasim or Jeff, the chief designer. You know, I talked to some people, but I didn't talk to anyone at that level of the company.
Brian Gase was there, right?
I talked to Brian Gase, yeah, because, you know, I've met him in the past and he's super nice. Me as a person, I'm very introverted, and I feel like if I go up to someone like that, I'm taking their time away when they're very
Aw.
busy. So I think it's something that I need to be more proactive on.
Mhm.
And very similar, like I actually didn't get to test drive the fully, you know, self-driving Rivian while I was there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we had the opportunity to drive it. We just couldn't fly in the day before. So scheduling wise, that kind of
Yeah.
messed it up, unfortunately.
But I mean, there's plenty of times where I could have gone up to Tony, who is he was in charge of that, and I could have been like, hey, can you get me in for a ride? But I didn't, so it's my own fault for not trying. I think I just felt a little bit out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And now that you've done one of these events, hopefully you'll get back to another one and then take these lessons and
yeah, I know what
apply them.
I know what I would do differently now
Good.
as far as content goes. If you haven't watched already, I just dropped a new type of video that is very out of my comfort zone.
I love this new video, honestly.
It's so much fun.
You worked so hard on this. I think it's such a fun departure from what you've been doing because your foray into this space was Rivian News, right? Which, no offense, is not the most exciting thing always, right? You're just reporting what happens each week. Some weeks are more exciting than others, but largely it's just sitting in front of a camera and discussing. But the format you used this week, please check it out. I think it's your best video to date. And I hope you continue making more videos like that.
I would love to. I mean, it was a lot of work for 5 minutes worth of video, but
I think that's what people don't realize is how much work goes like into the behind the scenes of these videos.
So like it's so much work, and it's also figuring out like with vehicles. Today was the windiest day ever.
Oh my god!
And I'm like
such bad weather up
so
here.
afraid my camera is going to fall off the tripod, and like cameras are not cheap.
No.
And then the sun, like filming inside is so easy because it's just so controlled. But doing something with a vehicle outside in the elements makes it so much harder. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. This is not to say that I'm stopping with the Rivian News. It's been a nice little pause from it, but I expect to get a weekly news video out probably at the end of this week.
Yeah, and I think the video that you posted today about autonomy is a really fun and engaging video for people who really, like myself, don't know much about it or the future of autonomy. I think you put it in really easy terms to understand, which is kind of why I've gotten into this, because you do make it engaging.
Yeah, I think what I would like to do with my channel itself is I would like to, I want to continue making Rivian content, but I would like to make more like fun, creative, educational content about electric vehicles themselves, whether that is for Rivian owners or just like, you know, the whole umbrella of EVs.
Well, we are, in continuing with our travel theme, we leave for Hawaii in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about getting a Tesla while we are on Oahu. So that would be interesting if we do go through with that, to see what the self-driving capabilities are like there, because we've driven those roads, you know, multiple times already, but to have a car navigating it.
Yeah.
And also see what the battery is like, how easy it is to charge on the island.
Yeah, like how, what the infrastructure is like on Oahu. Yeah, I think it could be a good idea to do, but I also kind of just want to enjoy Hawaii.
That's true, but like ABC, always be content.
I'm not at that point yet.
You're not. No. I think that my biggest takeaway, so I didn't go to Autonomy Day itself, but just spending the weekend out there in the Bay Area, which super cool area if you've never been to the Bay Area. I loved it and would 100% go back. My biggest takeaway was just how cool it was to see all of the Rivians on the road.
Yes.
Living in Boston, we definitely see more than perhaps the average person. And we saw a lot when we were in LA earlier this summer. But we drove, after Autonomy Day, we drove to, I wish I could remember the name of the place, because those sliders you had were so good.
Yeah, they were good. But it was like a brewery out in Palo Alto. I don't know.
But it was a 20-minute drive, and on that 20-minute drive, I think we saw like 16 Rivians alone, and that doesn't include Tesla. So just the sheer number of EVs, which makes sense. It's Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
But I was like, hell yeah, Rivian. Way to make space here.
Yeah, that is like the, the origin story for Rivian. It's amazing how many there are there.
It was great. And sadly, we were in a gas vehicle.
We were in a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Never again. It was a really nice car on the inside.
That's a video that I need to make.
How much you hated the Jeep Grand Cherokee.
No, just like how I feel like the story would be like, I've been driving an electric vehicle for X amount of time, and this is what ends up happening when I rent a gas vehicle.
Not good, Bob. Not good.
It's not great. You leave your keys in the car because you forget that you have keys. You don't turn the vehicle off because you forget you have to turn it off.
You don't lock it. Yeah, we're giving away the video.
That's okay.
But yeah, I love going to places where there's a bunch of Rivians. You're like, my people.
Yeah, it's cool.
But while we were out there, we also got to see the Apple space in Cupertino, which you can't really see much of the Apple space. It's all like shrouded by trees.
Yeah, they have like the Apple campus visitor spot. So it's a really cool Apple store that is like, it's like no other Apple store.
Yeah, I mean, first off, they made really good lattes with
their coffee there was
art.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and mine had like the little Apple logo on it. But I think that was also one of my favorite parts of the trip, is while we were at Apple, one of the employees came outside and recognized you and complimented you on your videos. And I've said this before on the podcast, but I just want to say it again at the end of this year. Like, I'm so proud of you and everything you've done, because to have that recognition, and I said to myself, if you're going to be recognized anywhere, it's going to be in this area, right? Like in this tech space.
Yeah.
But just to have people, you're saying you're uncomfortable going up to people, right? And I'm sure people are also uncomfortable coming up to you.
No, see, that's the good thing. I like when people come up to me because I don't have to introduce myself.
But it was really nice because he was like, hey man, love the videos. Like, keep doing what you're doing with the news. It's great. And I just think that while you might be a smaller content creator, that doesn't mean that you're having any less of an impact. Yeah. So proud of you. Keep it up.
I'll try to. We'll see.
And then before we drove down to the Apple space, what did we do that morning?
Ooh, we rode bicycles. But,
Yes. No, I mean, not just any bicycle. We rode the
yeah.
TMB from Also.
Also,
Well, I rode. I just went in circles in the parking lot.
yes, we were able to go test drive the Also e-bike.
So the Transcendent mobility bike?
The Transcendent mobility bike. Yes,
TMB.
it's that thing.
And also the company started, it's like Rivian's cousin, right?
Yeah, it started within Rivian, and then they basically made it into its own company that is now making the e-bikes. But then I think the bigger thing that they're more interested in is selling the quadricycles to like Amazon, who already has them on order,
I would have loved to ride a quad.
or just other, delivery services within a city that need something that is not a big vehicle. And those look really cool. Yeah. I wish that we could have
I know.
done one of those, but no, it feels like nothing, no, how do I describe it?
Have you ridden a motorcycle before?
I mean, I've ridden a dirt bike before.
That's okay.
It's the same.
Yeah.
I've had bicycles growing up,
Yeah.
but I've never had an e-bike, and I've never ridden e-bike. So having that as my first e-bike, maybe that's kind of a bad point of view because I know nothing else because it was so smooth. It felt so reactive to the, to what I did with the pedals when the pedals are not connected to the actual back wheel.
Yeah, so we were in a group that was probably, I don't know, 6 of us or so.
Yeah, I think there were 6 of us.
And we were the only people who had never ridden e-bikes before.
Me and you.
Yeah, which honestly, that was surprising to me. I didn't realize e-bikes have been a thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, we don't really live in an area that is.
That's true. Biking in Boston, like it happens. You see like the city bikes that people can just like click in and out, right?
But we're not actually in Boston, so like in order for us to ride a bike into Boston, it would be a death trap.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, riding a bike in Boston is also a death trap.
Yeah, cobblestones, forget it, you're going over those handlebars. Yeah, so we had never ridden e-bikes. I haven't ridden a bike in 20 years. The saying is kind of true, it's like riding a bike. I was wobbly, but I made circles.
It's like riding a bike, but then you add a motor into it and you're like, whoa, what happened?
So the TMB can go, I think, up to 28 miles an hour is what they said.
28 miles per hour with the throttle.
Right.
But you can pedal it to be faster. It's just not going to give you more assist.
Right. So you were able to drive it or ride it? Do you drive it or ride it?
You ride it. Yeah, you ride it. Yeah.
Okay. You were able to ride it onto the main road and you did throttle it. Like, what did you think of it?
Oh, it's really cool because you could be pedaling like you're on a flat surface and it is going so fast. Or like you could be going up a hill and the assist could make it feel like you are pedaling on a flat surface. It felt like you were cheating.
When they said that in the demonstration that like you could be riding in the Alps and it feels like you're flat, or vice versa, you could be riding on flat and it feels like you're doing the Alps. It doesn't make sense in your mind that that's a possibility. And then when you actually feel the pedals spinning, it's like, this is deceptively easy. Like I thought cycling was about having a workout, and it still can be, right? Depending on which mode you're in. But also, as somebody who is adverse to physical activity, you're telling me I could bike up a mountain and do next to nothing?
It would feel like next to nothing.
That's crazy.
And then you would ride down the mountain and your battery would regenerate.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
That's really cool.
I just kept thinking about a hill that I grew up next to that we would always bike up. And it was literally a challenge. It was like, can you get up this hill in one go without putting your feet down to the ground? Because it was that steep and long of a hill.
That's like my hill, when you turn onto my main road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So me thinking about having the TMB, And it's like, that would make that hill feel like absolutely nothing. It's crazy.
And you haven't had a bike since it got stolen in college, right?
Yeah, my last
Rip.
bike, I think, got stolen in my senior year of college. But you know what? It was time to let go. That bike had been through some
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
Was that your like childhood bike, like the bike you grew up riding as a teenager?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, like my uncle won it and then he gave it to me. So then I like rode it and then I brought it to school. And I'm like, how did I bring that to school? I didn't even have a
don't know.
bike rack. I must have just put it in the trunk or something.
Yeah, I have no idea. Where did you store that bike?
Oh, just outside. It was I actually didn't.
Because I was gonna say you didn't have the bike when we lived together at school, right?
No.
Yeah,
it
that
was
after.
it was my final
Yeah.
year.
Okay, yeah.
And I just never had a
Because you
bike
lived
lock.
far off campus. Well,
Yeah.
what in my opinion was far off
Yeah.
campus.
I mean, yeah.
It's
I
not far.
yeah. So the issue is, it made it through that whole senior year without a bike lock until the very end where it was raining and I was at the gym and someone definitely saw that bike and they were like, I don't want to walk in this. I'm going to grab that bike. So, it happens. The beauty about this also bike is that it has like anti-theft features.
Yep, it
where
locks.
everything just kind of locks. And then if you report that it is, stolen, then every single piece of equipment in it is pretty much useless.
Yep.
So
they call it brick it?
Yeah, you can brick it. So they were just joking and being like, if you do report this and someone did steal it and they get the bike, really all they can do is melt it down and sell whatever materials they get out of it.
Yeah, and someone tried to push the bike when it was locked.
Yeah.
And it really didn't seem like those wheels were moving at all.
No, yeah.
And
I mean,
the bike was
they do
kinda
move, but it's like you are pushing
There's
against
resistance.
so much resistance.
Yeah. So if you wanted to steal the bike, you could. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it.
Yeah.
But moral of the story, are we getting a TMB?
I think so. I would love to make videos with it. I don't want to tell people what I'm going to do with it, but I think that there will be some quality content coming from it.
The quad I feel like would be cool for like DoorDash or Uber Eats.
Yeah, in a city area.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that's usable. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we've talked about various modes of transportation in the city. So the Rivian event, and also that was in Palo Alto, and then you and I spent a couple of extra days in the Bay Area, and we stayed in San Fran.
Yeah.
First off, apparently everyone except for the two of us knew that sourdough like started there, basically.
Also, it's just Boston.
Yeah, no. San Francisco is just Boston in the sense that it's a city, it's kind of artsy, there's history, but there's no defensive drivers.
Okay, that's, yeah, sure. There's a lot of Waymos.
It was a much calmer Boston.
Yeah, but it just feels like Boston.
Yeah.
Like, we went there, and I was like, this is just Boston in fall.
Which we like fall better than winter.
It's true.
But while we were in San Fran, we saw 1,000,001 Waymos, which we did not get the chance to do when we were in LA. So this time around,
we did. But I walked outside of the hotel, and it looked like the Waymos were attacking. Yeah, because I walked out and there were like 7 of them just sitting at the light. And it's like, what is happening?
It very much felt like I Am Robot. Like there were so many Waymos. And you just see, is it the LiDAR? Is that
the LiDAR.
It's not subtle if you've never seen a Waymo. It's like when you picture like a siren, on the top with like the lights spinning and woo woo. There's no light spinning, but it's spinning there. It's spinning at the bottom. It's hideous. A little distracting.
It's very hideous. And I think we can bring this back to the Rivian event at Autonomy Day. And if you watch my video, you'll know that they are going to be using LiDAR to some extent. And I totally understand why they're not using the LiDAR that is on a Waymo. They're using one that is just facing forward. One that will not damage your phone's camera because LiDAR on other vehicles, if you point your camera at it, it will destroy the sensor in your camera.
What?
Yeah, don't do that.
What do you mean?
Like if I'm taking a video
Of a Waymo?
of I think it happens with Waymos, but you get like close enough, it'll start putting like little holes in your sensor so that on your video then you'll see them when you're taking a video. Yeah. So Rivian is not doing that, and it's not going to cause issues like that.
Whoa.
So that's a good thing. But they're ugly. The Waymos.
Well, okay. This was a misconception I had. I thought Waymo was a car brand.
Yes.
It is not. Waymo is really, it's like the tech that they're doing.
Gotcha.
Because what vehicles are they using?
They are the Jaguar.
Yeah, and Jaguars, they're not an ugly vehicle. It was very comfortable the one we were in.
It's probably the thing that's keeping Jaguar alive, to be honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, when we say it's ugly, it's more so just like the eyesore of having this spinning technology all over your vehicle.
Yeah.
But we decided to take one to and from dinner one night, and it was a 10-15 minute drive.
Yeah.
Which also, we were in San Fran on SantaCon weekend, which we did not realize. No, we did not see that woman in that viral video right now. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my God, this woman went absolutely insane.
At
Obliterated.
She was probably at that bar where everyone was waiting.
Well, maybe. But yeah, she got kicked out of a restaurant. She was yelling. It was a whole thing. She got fired from her job. Wow. We missed it. But
darn.
Yeah. So anyway, we were in San Fran during SantaCon weekend, which I don't know how crowded San Fran is typically. Obviously, we're used to Boston traffic. And San Fran apparently was experiencing like historic cold front. It was 50 degrees. Fall. So I don't know if it was more or less crowded because of weather or SantaCon than it usually is. But there were a lot of pedestrians that weekend specifically.
Yeah.
And so the Waymo, I think that was one of my biggest concerns, was how is it going to do with just random.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. What random, I don't want to say objects, but like
humans that don't have control of their body.
No.
Just edge cases.
So that was my biggest concern, I guess, was random like distractions, right? Unexpected events happening because people walking into the street, people who are inebriated, making poor decisions and not looking where they're going. Yeah. And I will say the Waymo was good about distance and stopping. My biggest complaint on our ride there was the aggressiveness of the stopping. Maybe it was kind of a harder stop than I would like.
On us.
Yeah.
Tesla has that down much better than Waymo. But on the way back, it was funny, and it's like the dumbest mistake it could have made. So we were on a one-way street. We're about to take a left, and our hotel is literally right there.
Yep.
And we get towards the light, and our Waymo is like getting all the way into the left lane. But it didn't realize that the left lane is parked cars. So we get behind this parked car, and both of us look at each other and we're like, let's see what happens. So we probably stayed there for like 30, 40 seconds. And then on the screen, it basically says, we're contacting like assistance in order to resolve what's happening. So it like blinked really quick, and then they got us back into the lane towards our right. And then it was kind of unsure if it should take a left down the oncoming traffic street or the following street. But it did it. It figured it out. We made it.
But it was a good like 2 minutes or so that we had that little snafu. And it was interesting because going into the Waymo, I was a lot more hesitant than you were. And I had asked you, like, how long has Waymo been around? You're like, oh, they've been around for a while. And I think we looked up and it was 2021.
I think so.
Yeah. So not that long at all. But it wasn't the most egregious mistake it could have made.
Mm-hmm.
At no point was our safety compromised.
No. And most people probably would have just hit the button and been like, we'll just get out here.
Yeah, I
and we'll
mean,
walk.
our hotel was quite literally around the corner.
Yeah.
But we did want to see what happened.
Yeah.
Having experienced that, has your perception of Waymo changed? Are you impressed? Are you a little more apprehensive?
I'm not apprehensive. I'm impressed with what they're doing in San Francisco. San Francisco is very much a grid, and it's a pretty spaced out grid compared to like looking at New York City, which is just like mayhem happening everywhere.
Well, New York is also a grid. It's just, yeah.
It's a grid, but it's a chaotic grid. So I think they would have more issues coming to New York City, which is on like the roadmap. Boston, there's just no grids. It's just like whoever wanted to put a road here decided, and then someone else put a road on top of it. So
a nightmare.
I think that other companies are going to do better than Waymo. I think that Waymo is at a huge disadvantage being only a fleet of vehicles. You cannot own a Waymo.
Sure.
Where you and I can go out and purchase a Tesla, can purchase a Rivian, and whoever, whatever else other car maker is going to make something that's fully self-driving. Because I would much prefer, if cars get to that point, that my vehicle comes and picks me up, not Waymo. Like, why would I be paying another service unless I live somewhere where I don't need a car?
Exactly. Okay.
So it's like, if we lived here, it would be so cool to have our car drive us to the airport, and then it drives home. And then when we come back, it drives and picks us up, and we go back home.
I had a friend say the other day that we are of the age, because, like moving apartments, it's not going to cut it in our 30s to pay your friends with pizza and beer, right?
Yeah. And
then I had a friend who said, oh yeah, it's the same thing with the airport. Like, I love you enough where I will send an Uber to come get you at the airport, but I'm not doing it. And honestly, to have your own vehicle be the one to pick you up or drop you off at the airport, it makes those early morning or late night flights a lot better. Your spouse doesn't want to pull their hair out driving you to the airport with traffic.
Yeah.
So that would be pretty cool. And I understand what you're saying now versus a fleet of cars.
And here's why I know that, like, Uber is going to eventually transition to autonomy and everything, because I truly hate getting into someone else's car and it is like full of cologne and they're hard braking, and it's like, if I throw up in this vehicle, it should not be on me whatsoever. Because that was our experience coming home from the airport from San Francisco.
I felt so bad.
Did you spray the whole bottle of cologne in this vehicle, first of all?
It's like walking into a high school boys' locker room.
It's so much worse sometimes. And the fact that, sometimes you get into an Uber and the person is super talkative and you're like, dude, I just don't want to talk to anyone right now. Yeah. Or you get the guy who has 10 phones out and they're trying to figure out what their next ride is going to be, and then they're not paying attention. So clearly, autonomy is the future. Please take people off the road. They're so dangerous. That's my takeaway from this trip. Autonomy is the future.
There you go. So I think, in summation, we have had several Rivian events that we've attended this year. We've had a lot of experiences with different EVs, whether it was Waymo or the e-bikes and Rivian in general. Do you have a highlight from 2025?
My highlight from 2025 is that I put out a video every single week of 2025. And it's not perseverance. I think it's just a lot of patience.
Which is a skill you possess that I don't. And that's why we work.
I do.
Sure.
What was your highlight?
I think my highlight was, this was my first year fully driving an EV, right? I started
Mhm.
the year in the Tesla and then got my R1S, and I've driven your R1T
Yeah.
a couple of times with its
True.
whack camera.
Potato camera.
It's really bad. No, but
You're fully EV now, girl.
this was my first full year being EV,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. I went back and drove a gas car for one night and one night only, and I hated it. I was like, oh my God, the car is moving on its own. Like
Yeah.
oh no.
What is happening?
Oh my God, I have to press a brake. Why is this not intuitive? And I'm really proud of myself for doing this for a whole year. It was not something that I necessarily had a desire to do.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to continue getting more comfortable in my vehicle and other EVs and see what else is out there, because having a Gen 2 R1S means that I am going to have full self-driving capabilities in the future.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously you will try those out first and report back.
Oh no, we're doing a video.
Okay, yeah, and I'm sure we'll do it together. I'm not going to try it by myself for the first time. But I do think that it's going to be interesting to see both the growth of Rivian and my growth as an EV driver and consumer moving forward.
I agree.
Well, good year. We did it.
Ugh.
Thanks for getting back into bed with us. If we do another podcast this year, then we'll see you again. Otherwise, we'll see you in the new year.
And remember, adventure is always out there.